All right, what is up, everyone? It's How To Videos. I'm actually doing a collab with General How To today. He's the guy you can see pictured here. He was kind enough to come by and help me out. I had a leaky pipe. He helped me fix. So I want to take you all through an easy DIY, show you how it's done. I'll let him take it away from here.
So the next step is going to be cutting the pipe. There's two types of pipe cutters. You have the big one, which is not going to work well in this situation because of how tight and how close it is to the beam. So then they have like a low profile one, which is the one we're going to be using. And again, we have such limited space right now that even the low profile one is not going to be able to make a 360-degree turn. It's going to hit the wall. So that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to work it. As soon as it gets here, we're going to work the way back, and it's actually going to be able to make a complete 360. Now I'm going to show you guys how this works because, again, on the YouTube videos, they just show you the pipe cut and just how to sweat it. They don't show you really the process. You're going to screw it on until it gets pretty tight, hand tight, just like that. Now you're going to work it back and forth. As you work it back and forth, it's going to be cutting the pipe. It's going to loosen, so you continue to tighten it. And the thing is, we have a bucket underneath us because I do feel there is some water. As you can see, it's leaking in the pipe right now. So be very careful and have a bucket underneath because we don't know how much water. We turned off the whole water to the house, but we don't know how much water is left in these pipes.
All right, so I'm going to fast forward here. We actually ended up using a clamp to pull the pipe away from the wall. It was a bit close. It was having some issues getting the actual cutter around the edge of it, so this gave us enough clearance now where we're working, and you'll see the water start to drift.
Now you guys can see in the video what I did here with the clamp, which helped me a lot, is pull that pipe just enough, even an eighth of an inch away from that beam, which allowed me to completely make this turn without calling. Just pulled it enough away from that wall so I can make that 360. It made the whole project so much easier. Alright, so you guys can see we have the first section of pipe cut. Now I'm going to go somewhere over here. Obviously I'm not going to go here because that would really give me an issue right here. So this section of pipe really looks like it's getting old. I'm just going to cut it out and I'm going to work right here. Okay? Really quick, I just want to mention two other options. You could see the homeowner, there's actually three options. We'll start with the least important, the least, success rate, and that's putty. It's very difficult to use. It's called water wet, or JB Weld makes a different putty. You mix it together to activate it, and again, it's very difficult to use because they're always working with a wet pipe. If you could somehow get that water shut off, have it completely dry, you need to use an emery cloth or a sandpaper and completely sand and clean this area and scuff that pipe up very well and allow that JB Weld or that water weld, the water putty, water weld, whatever they call it, to adhere to the pipe. That's my least favorite method. Next method, if you don't want to sweat pipes, or again, if you're so close to a beam and you're not good with working with a torch, it's called shark bite. So you're going to cut the pipe the same way we did, cut it here, and basically they're compression fittings. They're very expensive. It's about $15 to $20 per fitting. So you're actually going to need one here, and then the elbow. So you're looking at almost $50, $60. So basically what you do, you cut the pipe and they're compression fittings, so you squeeze until you hear a click. That's a really good option also. But if we had a little pinhole right here, which he has over in a pipe over in the corner over there, it's called a clamp. And what you do is you just sandwich that pipe together. There's a little rubber gasket in between. You have two bolts, one on each side, and it sandwiches that pinhole, and it'll never leak again. But the real right way to do it, if you're going to sell the house, if it's somewhere, in a basement where you're going to have company over and you're seeing patches and, JB Weld and, that it just doesn't look good, and a professional is not going to do it that way. It's for in a pinch if you want to stop it and wait until you get the proper tools to sweat the pipes the right way. So we're going to come back, I'm going to cut this pipe, and then I'm going to show you guys how to get it all buttoned up. All right. pipes.
Use
You
a
can't have
Sawzall.
edges. Yeah, you can't. Perfect cut. And now I'm going to show you guys what to do. I'm going to show you how to prepare these. So we'll come back and I'll show you. Alright, so before we even worry about sweating the pipes, we're going to completely let this water drain out. Don't go crazy pushing down too hard. It's only a fitting here, but I'm trying to get that water out. Okay, so once that water drains, we need to first prepare each of these cuts. We can't just leave it like this. It's not the right way. So they sell something like this, and it has a small edge in here. And what that's going to do is it's just going to put a nice smooth bevel on here. Because right now, if I go and put a fitting, as the water's flowing through, it's not a nice edge. It's actually a flat edge. You want to put a nice bevel to allow that water to flow without any stoppage. You want it to flow perfectly. So basically what you do is you put it in here, find the right size. Obviously it's not this one. It seems to be this one, or yeah, it's a 1/2 inch. So you just spin it. And what that's doing is putting a nice smooth bevel on there. You don't have to do this, but it really is the right way, and it's the professional way. If you want to do all this, you might as well do it and finish it and do it properly. Just hold it, push in, and spin. And that puts a nice smooth edge. Same thing we're going to do over to this one right here. This is going to be a little bit more difficult, but I'll try. So the next thing we're going to do is you need special sandpaper. It's called emery cloth. Comes in rolls like this. Just going to break off a little piece, just like that. And you're going to clean the area that you're going to sweat. The reason you're cleaning it is to take all the oils off the pipe and just allow the flux and the solder to flow in without any problems. You're scoring the pipe to allow the solder to pull in and stick. You're taking a little coating off of that copper pipe. This is one of the most important steps. Alright, so you saw we scored the pipe over here. Now we're going to work on this section right here. Wrap some emery cloth around, just like that. Just work it back. You really can't over sand, so it's better to do more than less. Now you see why it's so difficult to work with the putty or the weld, the clay, because always that pipe's going to have some water. It's really impossible to get that completely dry. And in order to use that putty or that clay, that weld, it's got to be bone dry. Okay. Good. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to prepare the pipe that we're going to put on. We're going to measure. We're going to get that exact cut. And we'll go from there. All right. Now we got to cut the other pipe. So what we're going to do is we need to first test fit it. So we're going to need one collar. Alright, so first thing you want to do is before you make any cuts, you want to test fit it. So slide this collar on, this little coupling. Make sure it fits. And see where you're going to go before you start making any cuts. Same thing we did over here, we're going to be doing to every fitting. Every joint that's going to be joined to the pipe has to be cleaned, has to be sanded, and then it's ready to go. I'm going to see if I can get away with doing this here. So right now I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do it and start preparing the pipes. Alright, so first thing I'm going to have to do, let me show you while we're on camera how you sand the inside of a pipe. So right here, there's two types of tools. You could either use the sandpaper that we're using. So you could either use the sandpaper, kind of ball it up and work it inside, or really the right way to do it is by one of these, which is the exact size of the pipe, and just work it in just like this. So that's why it's very important to have one of these. And you can see how inside of the pipe is better than you would have done by your hand. Now do the other side.
You have to clean the brand new copper pipe?
Yeah, it has to be cleaned.
This too?
The
So
reason
have to
why you
sand
clean
down?
it, the outside I do not. I do not have to clean the outside of this because it won't be touched, but the inside has to be cleaned. The outside of this has to be cleaned because the inside of here is going to join to the outside. So whatever pieces of pipe that are joining together have to be cleaned and have to be scored like this, roughed up. Just like when you're painting. You always want to, if you're painting plastic, you always want to sand it and allow it to get a little rough so that paint has something to stick to. So that's fine. This is going to go here. Now I'm going to have to get this inside of this cleaned and scored, but I'm also going to have to cut a very small section of pipe just to bring this down a little bit, because when we cut right here, we lost a little bit of pipe. So now what I'm trying to do is get that a little bit more down, a little more level with this pipe. You saw that when I did put that pipe in, I could have put this, but what it's going to do is bend this a little bit and bend this down. You don't want to do that. You want to just do it the right way. So I'm going to start with this one right here. All right. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're test fitting. I have the collar on here, coupling, and I'm going to have the 90-degree elbow. Just remember that elbow, the pipe, seeds in a little bit, so you want to kind of put it right against here and just mark. I don't want it exact, I want to get a little bit, because remember when we cut that 90 off, we lost like 1/8 of an inch of pipe. So put it right here, because that's where the pipe's going to set in. Just give yourself a little 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so now I know where I want to cut. That's it. Now we're going to come back, I'm going to cut that pipe, and we're going to start sweating the pipes. The only thing is, what I want to do, am I going to start putting this on first? Or am I going to get everything set up on the ground and then feed it up on here to make it easier for me? That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to put this on, then put this, then put that. No. I'm going to go down, cut everything I need to cut, sweat it on the ground or on a vise or a table, make it easier for me, and then have just one sweat right up here. That makes it a lot easier rather than building it up on here. All right, so what we did, we just cut this pipe. Again, you want to install the most you can out of the actual, area where you're going to be working. So right now I'm going to put it up and I'm going to test fit it. He's going to be measuring it exactly from where you understand that the pipe goes into this fitting.
Right
so
there.
right here, and then understand that stay right there. I'm going to get you
I need a coupling.
So know that this fits right in halfway. Okay. So let me get that pushed in.
There
Okay,
we go.
so you would want it, there's even a little area where you can see, okay? There's a notch right here. That's where that pipe is going to stop. So
What do you think?
there's a. All right, so we put some flux here. We cleaned it, sanded it. Same thing in here. I'm going to push it on.
I think help.
Yeah, but now it's just got to be very careful. I got to watch my flame. I have to control my flame. I really want to be careful here. Again, it would have been so good to have a heat blanket, but Home
You
Depot's
want me to get
closed.
you that A metal pan thing?
No, it's okay. Alright.
Might work.
Metal pan?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try it.
I'll block some of it.
Nice. Beauty.
Looks good. Nice. Boom.
That's one. So we're making sure the inside of here is perfectly clean and sanded, which we did. We'll double check. Need to touch the outside of this pipe because nothing, no flux, no solder is going there. Same thing we did on this, the end of the pipe that was on there. We're most likely, do we need to do it here? No. Alright, let me go get that little piece. It's like when you use a can opener, it puts a nice smooth edge. So what we're going to do is we're going to assemble as much as we can right here. That way when we're ready, it's going to fit right inside. And then obviously the collar, the coupling, the inside is clean. First thing we're going to do, your flux, your soldering paste. It's a little dry. Try this one. Now, the idea of the flux is wherever you're putting the flux, the solder is a nice, even, thin layer. Don't go crazy. Ice, so I don't burn my hands. Just coating a nice, even, thin layer. Good. Fitting this into here, just like that. Now I'm gonna have some type of vise, so I need a little bit of hands-free. I can't really put it that close to the table, so. It's not clean. Alright, so I'm going to get the torch. We're going to come right back. I'm going to show you the idea. Most people think you're heating the solder and drawing it in. That's incorrect. Am I going to heat here? No. I want to heat right here, where that joint meets the bond. You don't want to use the map and the oxygen together. It produces too hot of a heat. So first, apply a little more heat evenly. Get in. Here, remember. I'm going to put a nice thin coat. Again, I'm going to heat the fitting. I'm not going to heat the pipe up here. Try to apply even heat throughout the fitting.
What's smoking?
The flux.
to be safe. Clean it again. Alright. This is good.
Amazing. The solder just
Yeah,
adheres to that,
draws right to it, yeah.
and that's it.
Okay. That's that.
Device came in handy. I just put that thing in like a month
Fix
ago.
this up. Breathe it, but yeah. But now it's just got to be very careful. I got to watch my flame. I have to control my flame. Alright, so you guys can see where we're at right now. The last step I have we improvise. And that's it. I just wanted to go through a lot of the steps, step by step. Comment down below. We're just going to get this sewed up and then test it for leaks, and that's it. We saw last time, Brett, kind of like when it started smoking.
Yeah, I can see it.
It's starting,
Bubbling
so let's
over.
try it. I'm going to reposition.
All right, let's do it.
This, give it a little
So it
push.
drips, I got
Reaches,
you.
And it's perfect to work with.
So extra solder.
Yep.
It's taking.
Perfect.
All right, and that does it for this edition of how-to videos. Please stay tuned for many more how-to DIYs. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Thanks.